You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my co-host Ian, or Lord Shenanigamer, should I say.
Thank you for having me on today. It's great to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Are you all excited for today's episode of Exploring Anime with Friends?
Yes, I am, because I'm very passionate about this topic. As you know, this is one of my all-time favorite characters that we're talking about.
Today we'll be exploring the first season of Devil May Cry, a supernatural action flick featuring Dante of the Devil May Cry video game series. First, we'll meet our main character, Dante, and learn about his past and the world in which he lives. Next, we will meet the White Rabbit and learn both about the threat he represents and his tragic past. After that, we will meet LL Mary Arkham, learn about Darkham and their history, or as Dante calls her, Lady. And finally, we will explore the amazing fight scenes that led up to the final conflict. And if you liked what you're hearing today, remember to check us out on social media. Like, subscribe, and follow. And check out Lord Shenanigamer on social media. Like, subscribe, and follow him too. Tell us a little bit about the streamer that is Lord Shenanigamer.
I'm a video game streamer, obviously. In January, I'm going to be doing a rebranding, probably to Cochrane Gaming, which is my last name. We just won't be covering video games. We'll also be doing tabletop games. Because there's something I've always wanted to stream and do with friends out there. So that's what we'll end up going to. And yeah, it's a good step forward because video games cost a lot of money to always do channels. So if I do tabletop games, I have like 7 of them I need to play. So might as well play them with the wife and friends.
To be fair, though, tabletop gaming costs a lot of money, too.
It does, but I literally have 7 that I want to play that are in my closet right now that I haven't even touched yet.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm just saying, like, base sets sometimes are like 80, and then you drop in expansions for like $40 a piece, and you can never get one, right?
That is true. That is true.
Like, we have a very extensive Cosmic Encounter collection over here, so probably have an easy 400 socked into it.
Yeah, we have Marvel Villainous that will be going. I'll be basically doing strategies on how to play each character because I played each character. I've won with each character, so yeah.
Excellent. Well, enough about playing tabletop. We're familiar to playing tabletop with each other. We RP together every Tuesday night. But let's talk about the other type of RPG that includes the one, the only Dante. By now, you guys have to know who Dante is. If not, then you should probably play the Devil May Cry video games. They're definitely better than the anime. But at the same time, this anime was pretty great. Tell us a little bit about your main man, Dante.
Dante, half demon, half human. It's a fantastic character. Probably one of the most iconic video game characters out there alongside like Kratos, Mario, Link, Master Chief. His series when it first came out was different than what we normally did because normally you want to fight the demons, but you're actually playing as one and you have to go and you have to kill the other demons. So it's like, heck yeah. Reminded me a lot of Doom when I first played it, just like with the demons and all that. But Dante grew and he's now he's in a lot of fighting games now, like Marvel vs. Capcom. He's in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale when that was out. There's talks they want to put him in Mortal Kombat, which would be amazing if he's in there. So
heck, he might even make the Smash Brothers roster at some point in time, right?
Oh yeah, he's huge enough and has an occult following that eventually he would be in there.
I think so. His portrayal in the movie was a little more unique though, because I found that a few times he almost came across a little naive to the world around him, right? Like the whole thing where the conversation he was having with Lady, where she's like, we always clean up your mess after you. And he's like, wait a minute, the demons just don't disappear after I kill them. And also the whole thing where he has no clue of his origin. He doesn't know that he's a demon in this anime and even when people tell him and prove it, it takes him about halfway through to actually accept it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing I actually like about the character. It's different because in the video games, he knows he's a demon. He can do all these fantastic things, and he goes, yeah, I'm a demon, I can do it. But in here, it shows him his more humanity, the more human side of him saying, wait, I can do that. You mean I'm just not special and I can't do this normally? No other human can do this?
Yeah, he thought that he was like a superhero. He didn't even for a moment think that his powers were supernatural.
Absolutely, absolutely.
yet at the same time incredibly cunning too, because like when Enzo came and he met him at the beginning, we're going to talk about Enzo throughout the course of this, but when
Yes,
he
we
came,
are.
he's like, so you didn't sell me out to the whole bunch of mercenaries that are surrounding the building right now?
Yeah, that was just crazy. Yeah, but he is very cunning. That's one thing about Dante. He knows his surroundings, very aware of his surroundings. So if there's like someone in another room, he goes, "Yeah, I know there's 10 guys in that room. And they can try and come in here after me, but I'm gonna end up walking away from this."
It's the perfect combination of naive and on some aspects cunning in others,
Yeah.
and yet at the same time not wanting to hurt humans too. Because man, that fight scene at the beginning where all the mercenaries are merging in on him and how he's using like the pool cue and the pool balls to just knock them out and not actually kill any of them
Yeah.
is, I don't know. I thought that was a pretty amazing fight scene because it's difficult to battle when you're not trying to completely incapacitate your opponent, right?
Yeah, it actually reminded me a lot of like early Batman, where he had to
Mm.
learn his strength and like pull punches so he didn't actually kill anybody. And just the parallels with that was like, okay, yeah, he's trying to keep them alive, trying to make sure the humans don't get killed, but at worst they have broken bones, broken ribs. It's a good balancing act to try and just learn.
And his humor's off the charts too. Want to explain some of Dante's funny moments?
A lot of his funny moments had me rolling on the floor laughing. One of my favorite moments was when he sat there and the guys were rushing. He was just like, boom, boom. Hey, we'll split the money with you. It's like, nah, I'm good. You're gonna claim it on me, but yeah, you want to split the money? Okay.
And I find that a lot of the best moments that involve Dante as far as the humor, not as far as fight scenes, because he doesn't fight the little sleazeball Enzo. The series would not be nearly as good without Enzo in it. Just give them a quick what Enzo is.
Enzo is basically I wouldn't say a mob boss, but he's kind of like it. He's a contractor and he gives out contracts to like, hey, you want this person? Cool. I know a guy. Let's get the contract there. I'll pay you. I'll keep a cut of it, but I'll pay you. And the show would be nothing without him. Honestly, having that balance between the naivety of Dante and Enzo's ability to talk his way almost out of everything.
Yeah, right?
It reminds me a lot of Ant-Man and Louise from Ant-Man, where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to tell the
Yeah.
story about what happened, but I might be exaggerating some. But here's what happened."
That's a perfect example. Like, honestly, like, it's
Yes.
one of those things where I don't think that Dante's character is fully well rounded out without Enzo being there, just like Ant-Man's isn't without Louise in the movie. Yeah, no, that's actually a perfect parallel there. Those are the best scenes of the Ant-Man movies, too. So,
Yes. Honestly, I thought that during that, Louise should have just done the whole Endgame storyline, just been telling it.
that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about this opening fight scene. We've talked about Enzo with mercenaries surrounding and building everything. Okay, that feels like we're just diving into an action without any explanation whatsoever. So let's give the explanation of Dante's history and who his father and brother are, and why the mercenaries are targeting him at the beginning of the series.
Dante's father is the great demon, also as Demon Lord Sparta. He basically rebelled against Hell and said, "What you guys are doing is I want to basically." In the video games, it's I want to be in charge, so I'm going to do things my way. But in here, it's like, no, we need to try and like coexist with humans or not really attack them because we can use them if we need to later. Basically, Sparta had enough and took the amulet he had and his sword and ripped the whole Mundus where we're at and just entered into the world and was ruling, fought demons, and they looked at him like a god. He met a human woman and had twins named Dante and Virgil. Both of them half demon. And when Sparta left or died or whatever, he split up his amulet and gave it to the mother, and she gave one to each, Virgil and Dante.
Yeah, and the reason why the mercenaries are coming after him at the beginning is because the sword of Sparta in the opening scene has been stolen by a character who is being called the White Rabbit. And he's one of those characters where it's kind of like he appears to be a demon, but not a demon that anyone else has ever seen before. So he has stolen the sword, and they come to the realization that the scientist that's working along, because obviously in this world, there are scientists that know about demon DNA, or scientists who study it. I love it how it's that almost tie-in from like Thor, where it's the magic of the era is really just the science that's even more advanced. But he points out that they need those amulet halves, and Dante's in possession of one, so therefore That's why he's being targeted. They don't care if Dante lives or dies. They just care that they get that half of the necklace so that they can protect humanity, or at least so they think they can protect humanity.
Yeah, protect humanity, control humanity. To them, it's the same thing. So
Yeah. I know. Darkcom is, man, without spoiling too much of the end, Darkcom is not the heroic people that they appear to be through like the first 5 episodes.
absolutely.
One thing to note too, this is an 8-episode series. It has been announced for its continuation. Netflix has officially renewed it. So we will get our second season. So 8 episodes. It plays very much like a movie, right? I'm going to slip and call it a movie a few times.
Yeah, it plays just like a movie. The pacing is like mini movies with each episode. And that's one thing I'll give credit to Netflix for, is they know how to do that. They know how to make it be cohesive and seem like there are many movies.
Yep. All right. So initially we were going to talk about the White Rabbit and Lady separately, but episode 6, you remember episode 6, the episode with no dialogue whatsoever?
My favorite episode.
The best episode of the series.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like, absolutely amazing. And because that episode exists, it almost feels like we should weave the two of their stories in and out of each other, start with their past together, and then their future separate. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
And if you like what you're hearing today, remember to watch this for yourself on Netflix. And remember to check us out on social media. That is Exploring Anime with Friends and Lord Shenanigamer. All right, episode 6. Just say what you want to say about it. This is where we're going to give hard spoilers up to.
Yeah. Episode 6, the greatest episode so far in the series.
Yeah.
No dialogue at all. Just majority black and white. And just the parallels between both the White Rabbit and Lady was like crazy.
And even Dante too. It's just Dante's not included in that episode.
Yeah. But the fact that Lady, she had a normal family up into the point where the subway, when her and her mother and father were attacked and he did nothing. And then her father became obsessed with demons to try and beat them, to the point to where he even just started ignoring his wife and her completely. And then,
it was rough to watch the evolution of the father.
Yeah. And then going on to White Rabbit, how he started off in the human world and was put into a foster system, was just like not cared for by anybody. No one cared for him. They treated him like trash. And then he was able to go abused, and he was able to get to the demon world. And then from there, found people who cared for him. Found his family.
Yeah, it's almost crazy because that moment that lines up where they're going back and forth between the two characters, you see that portal rifting in front of him, and you see her wanting to peek into the door through the keyhole, and she backs off, and that's the beginning of all of her problems, and he goes forward, and that's the beginning of all of his problems.
Yes.
But he finds that family, and their stories reversed. They're opposite but similar. He finds that family, and then he loses that family in a terrible scene that also involves her.
He was basically giving safe passage to demons that didn't want to live in hell anymore, and they wanted a new life here in our world. So he was doing it, and when that portal opened up, you just see them walk out and just get gunned down by Darkcom, by Lady. It was a tearjerker. I actually started crying at that. I was like, do not know what you guys just did. If you just talked to them, you would have found out they're just refugees. I'm just here helping them. You help them too. Don't kill them.
But that's where you realize that this was never about the right thing. This was about a holy war that Darkcom was declaring. But it all comes down to a battle where the White Rabbit, Lady, and Dante are all there. And the White Rabbit basically points out, it's like, we're all the same person, just slightly different in our background stories, but we all were beaten up. We all came from situations where we had to respond, and we all made the decision that we had to make in order to survive. And he's trying to point out the similarities, and Lady doesn't want to hear it, and Dante doesn't want to hear it, because he still is, in his mind, his cause is still heroic and just. And even though he now knows that he has demon blood inside of him, he is fully believing, I'm the good guy, I'm the savior, I'm the hero. But the White Rabbit's kind of right there, right?
Absolutely. The White Rabbit is right there saying, hey, we are all basically one and the same person. Well, we're all fighting for is basically the same thing, just in different contexts.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the White Rabbit in this point, a little bit about that opening scene where he does the battle.
Oh, that scene.
Or the slaughter.
the slaughter, his epic monologue he goes on.
Yeah, right.
While he's in a museum that happens to house the Sword of Sparta, which, if you know it's a demon artifact, why putting it in a museum? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You think at least Darkcom would have known about it and like, hey, we're taking it.
It's almost as if like Darkcom came out at the beginning of this and everything because they revealed who they were to the president of the United States and whatnot. But they did exist before it, so it's one of those things where that's one of the areas where we have to suspend a little belief.
Yeah. But just grabbing it and him explaining like Sparta, who he was, and just killing him like with just elegance and grace. I'm like, man, this dude's gonna be a menace, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah, so he's painted as the like very terrible antagonist throughout the first half of it. And then as it gets towards the middle, you start to realize that he was a hero to refugees. And that's where you start to shift. Not that he isn't trying to do something terrible. He's trying to break the gap between the two worlds, and he's trying to lead a hell invasion on Earth. But he's doing it so that the people can breathe again. Because the air is so toxic and polluted from where they come from that the infant mortality rate is incredibly high. Yeah. So he's ultimately looking out for them. And frankly, he doesn't care what happens to the humans because the humans didn't care what happened to them when they came over.
And not just when they came over, the humans didn't care what happened to him as a child. So he goes, basically, screw you, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure the demons reign supreme. Because they at least cared.
And Lady's the same thing. Like, Darkcom welcomed her in when she was at her lowest point. So she's standing up for the side because she doesn't know the crusade that they're on. She just knows that demons are dangerous. Demons ruined her family, and she is being trained to hunt demons. And she gets pretty darn good at hunting demons.
Yes, she does. And even as a kid too, it parallels it with her friends too, where they're like, hey, let's pretend we're demon hunters and all this stuff. And it just was like from there, and she realized getting older, if my father didn't protect me, I'll protect myself. So to make sure no child has to go through what I did, I'm joining Darkcom.
And Dante just takes out dozens of mercenaries at one time, and then she gets him one-on-one solo, and she's able to capture Dante and bring him in. So it really kind of showed that she had the power gap over him, at least for the beginning part of it. Even towards the end, she plays him like a fiddle at the end too, doesn't she?
Yes, she does, but that's when I'm expecting season 2 is going to end up flipping the script, and Dante's just going to become the Dante we all know him.
Yep. Or maybe we get the misadventures of Dante and Lady after it, right?
The spin-off series, Dante and the Lady and Dante.
Oh yeah, no, because she requires it to be Lady and Dante.
Yes.
I love how she doesn't even correct him at a certain point anymore, where she just accepts that her name is now Lady. So
yes, yeah.
By the way, she takes out a demon in her opening scene too, because her opening scene is the recruiting of all the mercenaries, and one sneaks in there, and that was just easy and effortless. She knows how to identify them. What are your favorite fight scenes in a series, without giving away the spoilers at the end?
My favorite fight I had was the bridge, when Dante's like, give me back my amulet, and he's just going through demons, through cars, just trying to get to the White Rabbit. And he gets to him, and the White Rabbit's like, come on, trigger it, I know it's in you, come on. Yep. And then the next favorite scene was the airplane skydiving scene, where he fights.
Oh my goodness, the airplane scene was so amazing.
Yeah. Dante has the speed and power to save everyone on here. You do?
Yeah, it's funny too, because Dante is still not convinced that he's a demon at all at this point in time. Yeah. When he hears the whole Son of Sparta thing, he's like, you're just making that up and everything. And Enzo, who's captured on the plane with him, is like, it could be true.
Oh, Enzo.
At that point in time, Dante has just been captured from a car chase scene because Darkcom was taking Dante and Enzo in, and they were ambushed on the road by the White Rabbit and his upper echelon of demons, the two brothers, Plant Lady, Slime Guy, who can take over different bodies and whatnot. But they thoroughly win that ambush. They get away with the pieces, and they get away with Dante too, kidnapping Dante, the vice president of the United States, Enzo and so many other people that they're holding as hostages on Air Force Two, the vice president's plane.
Yeah, gotta say this real quick. Rest
Yeah.
in peace, Kevin Conroy,
Mm.
as the vice president. I was like, when I first heard it, I'm like, that's Kevin Conroy. They have Batman playing a villain. I love it.
Oh,
And
I
just,
didn't even know that.
yeah. And that's probably why they had to delay season 2 for so long, because they had to recast him.
Gotcha. It's not going to feel the same with a different voice for him. He was a very memorable and notable character. Like, let's just pause from the fight scenes for a moment. Talk to us about the VP.
He's cunning, deceitful, even deceives the president, who only cares about his public reputation. Doesn't care what the vice president does. He's like, oh, you can run the country. As he said in there, the vice president goes, I run the country. The president doesn't. I run the country. And just the fact that he knew about the prophecies, like, oh, you can still be redeemed. Your dark soul can still be cleansed by God himself, which actually in the games ends up, you actually meet God in one of the games, and it's a whole amazing dialogue there.
Nice.
That technically Dante was chosen by him to end the demon rebellion. So
pretty cool.
No, the vice president, he's what I would see, like what every villain should aspire to be. Charismatic, cunning, deceitful, and keeps his cards close to his chest.
Yeah. And he uses the troops. Like, he just, he doesn't fight himself. He doesn't care about what has to be sacrificed in order to achieve total victory in the end. He's going for total victory. That's an important thing about him. And one quick side note, the whole Japanese portrayal of an American again with the president with the yeehaw Texas accent and the big belly and the cowboy hat on. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful stereotype. It's like, this is what people in Japan think we look like, with our eggs and mounds of bacon and guns at breakfast, right?
Absolutely. It's a stereotype that I actually don't find that offensive, because that's how they portray us. That's what they think we are.
Every time I see it, I crack up laughing. It's like, it's so far from the truth, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know what? It's every culture has stereotypes of other cultures. So, but anywho, yeah, that going back to that airplane scene again, during the whole thing, eventually Dante takes out one of the two brother demons in front of him, and the other one is kind of like, you know what? He just breaches the hull, and that battle through the air, like with the awakening and with Dante trying to save. Talk to us a little more about that battle, because honestly, that's probably the best fight scene of the whole movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just the fact that he lost his brother, the demon, he's like, goes on a full berserk. Just like, I will kill you now. I'll combine both our weapons and let's fight. And going through the air, just the awakening of Double Trigger basically makes Dante on a completely another level from him then. It's like, you don't know what you just did. You basically awoke a demon, and now he's going to kill you.
Yep. And in the process of killing the two demon brothers, he saves everyone. The only two casualties in the scene are the two brothers. He manages to save every single hostage before they hit the ground, including his buddy Enzo. It was a fresh take on the falling from high in the atmosphere fight scene. And it's like, yeah, no, sign me up for that. I really enjoyed that battle.
Yeah, and also seeing Devil Trigger with wings.
Oh, yeah.
We actually didn't see that until recently in the games, because normally it's been, hey, Devil Trigger's been on the ground. But what happens when you're falling through the air? He's like, I'm adapting. I now have wings.
And I guess one final thing we should talk about, because we mentioned how the vice president is manipulating and how he's using charisma and everything. The whole scene where they raided the White Rabbit's base, it kind of just felt like the White Rabbit and the VP were playing chess with each other there. That was the mid game where the White Rabbit took the advantage.
He did. He literally said check. And it got to the point where all the elite agents of Darkcom, except Lady, were killed. They're no more.
Yeah.
Basically, your best of the best vice president are no more. You just have Lady now. So you're going to have to end up rebuilding it and getting new recruits, which aren't going to be as good. But even in the base, when she came toe-to-toe with demons and realized they're just like us. They're here to just live their life. Not all of them are evil. And that was like the parallel to the demon she saw in her father, who ended up becoming a demon. It's like, all demons are evil. No, they're not. They have kids. They're a family. They're husband and wives. And when she realized, like, you saved me. Okay, I'll save you now.
Yeah, that's the scene where it's very clear where you have the change of heart with Lady, and you have the character development with her. You see just how evil the vice president is in that scene, and you just see how well prepared the White Rabbit is. It really just kind of sets you up for that 6th episode that explains everything, and the wild endgame in episode 7 and 8, which we're going to leave you off with. Just note that this is where it's at going into there. The White Rabbit has the sword. He has Virgil's half of the amulet, and he has whatever he needs to trigger it. And Dante does not allow Lady to go to the battlefield to represent him by himself. He shows up at the battlefield that she's trying to neutralize. As the VP is watching from the distance, soldiers on the rooftop, White Rabbit with his demons, Lady, Dante, complete chaos for the next 2 episodes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the fact that, I'm going to say this, spoiler alert for those people who don't realize, but the White Rabbit, the demon he talked to, was Virgil.
Yeah.
He got Virgil's blood from Virgil himself, who, another spoiler
Which, by the way,
alert,
if we didn't get Virgil, we would be very disappointed, right? Like,
absolutely, we would have been, it's like, it's Devil May Cry. Where's Virgil? Where's his twin?
yeah, it takes a while to get to him, but we eventually got to him in the series.
Yes, yes. I mean, it was like 4 games in before we even met Virgil, before we even knew about Virgil. But yeah, it's here. And when I first saw it, my wife could tell you, I was like literally giggling because I was like, I know who that is. Yes, that's Virgil, everybody. He's embracing the Sparta side of him, where Dante's embracing the human side, their mother's side.
Yep. Any final things you want to say about this before we wrap it up?
An amazing series. Honestly, I'd give it a probably out of 5 stars, 4.5. Definitely watch it. It keeps you hooked from episode 1 all the way to episode 8. There's no really slow episodes. It's an amazing series. I can't wait for season 2. Can't wait to come back here and do another video if that's going to be a thing for season 2. But definitely, if it is,
well,
it'll be fun.
We only cover season 1s on this show to get people introduced to a new anime that they might not have seen before. But I'm sure there's another anime that we can introduce to season 1, 2 in the future, right?
Absolutely.
So for me, when I was watching it, it watched like a movie. It was very easy to watch the next episode.
Yes.
It was one of those things where I didn't have enough time to watch it start to finish the first night that I was watching it. So the second night I was watching it, I just started from the beginning again to get the whole experience together and did the 8-episode binge. And I'm gonna say it was a really good action anime, but episode 6 is easily a top 5 anime episode that I've seen this year.
I'd be right there with you. It's actually in my top 5 that I've seen ever. And it's just because it made me cry.
It's an iconic episode.
Yes.
I really appreciated it. It was a lot of fun. So once again, we explored the first season of Devil May Cry, diving into the wonderful over-the-top character that is Dante, with all of his boons and all of his flaws, and just the great character that he is, both in the video games and in the anime series. Then we met the White Rabbit and Lady, and we saw how their stories kind of intertwined, how they interlocked, and how all 3 of these characters are inseparable from each other, how they all had similar backgrounds, and the life decisions that they made to get to the points where they were during the course of this event. We dove a little into the vice president, who is the head of Darkcom, and some of the darkness that is associated with him, and saw how him and the White Rabbit were playing chess with each other throughout the course of the anime series. And finally, went into some of the high-flying fights that really just helped to define the Devil May Cry series. We hope you had as much fun exploring the first season of Devil May Cry as we did, and consider watching this anime. Bye! So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts. And hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. Bin Buster. Live from YouTube, it's Tuesday night, the call sign of the Bin Buster YouTube channel. Once you hear this, you know you're about to embark on a journey through pop culture, movies, comics, and more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST. Poppin' Cinema with Joe Mama and friends. Showcasing the power of cinema, join Joe Mama as he introduces different friends each week to a movie they have not seen before, popping their cinematic cherry as they talk about the movie they just watched every Tuesday at midnight.